Kia ora, New Zealand. Welcome to Sweet Chain Live. My name's Matt Drake. This is episode 102C. It's the final one from South Island Championships. It's been an absolutely exhausting weekend. I'm sure I'm going to sleep for days. But it's over, and it wasn't without its, not controversy, but intrigue and interest right up to the final hole. If you were lucky enough to be following the cards around in person, or maybe you were just watching on the PDGA Live app, it was absolutely enthralling. As we went into hole 17, Ethan Stout had a birdie putt, which he missed. He missed the comebacker and took the bogey. Jay, meanwhile, takes the birdie, which gives him a one-shot lead. So a two-shot swing on hole 17. And then going into hole 18, Ethan Stout and Jay both drive. Ethan comes up first and parks his approach. Jay unfortunately goes out of bounds and needs to make a putt from the drop zone in order to tie it up, which he doesn't manage to do. And Ethan Stout is your South Island champion. So very well done to Ethan. Let's have a look at all of the results. So it was the final round of the day. Final round of the competition, Ethan Stout shooting a 5 under, rated at 989, which is interesting. We'll come to a little bit more about ratings in a bit. Jay Watkinson shooting, I think he'll be unhappy with a 1 under par. Joe Berry coming in at 1 under par to take third. Nate Perkins went on a charge middle way through the round and looked like he could really damage the top three. If it wasn't for a double bogey and a bogey on the last two holes. And Andrew Popham played pretty consistently well throughout, got a bit unlucky on hole 17, so he shares fourth place with Nate. Sebastian Faulkner, tied in sixth place, was the highest placed player of the Discmania 1 in 14. Shooting a 999 rated 6 under par. He was joined in sixth place by Jasper van der Meer and Maverick Robertson. And Maverick will actually be joining us on the show very shortly after we've been through our results. Further down, Simon Feasey and resurgent Levi Stout, playing much better in the last two rounds of the tournament, were joined in ninth place by Philip Botter, who played very well to tie for ninth place. Over in FPO, this was it. Also incredibly close with Hayley Flintoff taking out the victory, but only as a result of the final hole where Echo Lee took a triple bogey to push herself into second place. But a +6 finish from Echo is a fantastic performance, and we'll see a bit later on. We've actually got the Sweet Chain rankings, the Sweet Chain Power Rankings out. They've already been done. The data analytics team have been busy at work following the tournament to make sure that you get the rankings. And if they'll also be on sweetchainmusic.co.nz. If you head over to our website, you'll be able to find it in the Power Rankings tab a little bit later on this evening. Michelle Simpson finishes in third place, just one shot off the Echo in second. Over to MP40, and it's Mario Cernio who puts together a very credible 980 rated 4 down in order to take the crown away from Mikey Yu, who finishes with a relatively disappointing +4. Joe Seebeck with a positive round at +1 pushes himself into third place. I hate hole 17 is all I can say about this tournament. Over into MA1, and Ben Kroll holds on to his lead at the top of MA1 and makes sure he wins the tournament by 6 shots. So very well done to Ben. Over in FA1, Helena Walker puts in a fantastic 851 rated performance to snatch the lead over Megan Merrick in FA1. Over into MA40, and Barry Van Beek extended his lead to keep to stay in the lead and take out the victory with a 930 rated 4 under par to go 9 down for the tournament. Over in FA40, Nicola Stout keeps her lead, 840 rated +4 today, keeps her in first place over Kath Headley. In MA50, Gregor Brosnan puts in a very strong round, 930 rated to finish the tournament 11 shots ahead of Andrew Faulkner and Chris Rensburg. And in MA60, John Rushworth puts in a very, very credible 8:28 rated round to stay in front in FA 50. In MA2, Campbell Brown shoots a very respectable 975 rated round to take out the final round of MA2. Duane Fisher hits equally credible 953 in order to finish second. We'll get on to some comments about around some of the ratings that we've noticed in MA2 in particular. Over in FA2, Hannah Rushworth's 10 over par was enough to keep her in the lead, despite Chelsea Pryor chasing her down. 772 rated for Hannah. Over in MA3, Hanari Nukunuku keeps hold of the lead with an 896 rated final round. Across to the juniors, and it's Baden Lecker whose 964 rated final round is enough to push him into the lead ahead of Eli Rue and Isaiah Winetti. In MJ15, it's Jai Taifunga who takes out the tournament with a 16 under par 964 rated round. Jai was playing some pretty good disc golf this weekend, and 964 for an under 15-year-old is a fantastic result. Alison Tweedy hits 851 to shoot plus 12 and shoots better than every other lady who shot the red course over the weekend. So very well done to Alison playing in the under 15s division. Right, that's all the results in. A couple of things I'd like to point out. Ethan Stout won the tournament today with a 992 event average, so taking the mean of the three rounds that he played. Over in MA2, the strongest round of the weekend was Campbell Brown, who shot a 988 average tournament average from MA2. Well done to Campbell. Expecting big things when he moves up to MA1 or maybe even MPO in his next tournament. Right, all the rankings are on the. You'll find on our website a little bit later on this evening, but I can share them with you now. There's been quite a bit of movement because a lot of the players who are in the top 20 played this weekend. So many of the there's been a lot of changes. Where are we? Here we go. Power rankings. So Haley Flintoff in the FPO division maintains her top spot. Nicola Stout moves up 2 spots to 4th. The biggest winner was Alison Tweedy, who shot up 12 spots from 30th up to 18th. And Echo Lee also moved up 9 spots to 11th. In the MPO division, the biggest winners there were Ethan Stout, who moves up 14 positions to 4th following his victory. Simon Feasy's strong last round was enough to move him up 1 spot into 5th. The biggest winner of the day was Phil Botter, who moves up 76 places to 17th. So congratulations to Phil. And as I said, you'll find all of the rankings from, I think the MPO rankings go down to about 280. So if you want to find how you did following your performance at the South Island Championships, you can head over to sweetchainmusic.co.nz, click the power rankings in the bar along the top, search for your name, and it will show you how you did against you and your friends. So go and look that up after the show. So we're now going to be joined by our special guest. I'm just going to shuffle over just to give myself a little bit of room here. And we're joined this evening by Maverick Robertson. Good evening, Maverick.
Hello.
So, Maverick, for people who may not have met you or maybe don't know you, quick intro.
Quick intro would be just I work at Discmania. I work under sales with Discmania. Direct contact. My direct boss is Dana Vici, who has his own signature line. I'm sure you've heard of it, the Roman Thunder. He is the sales manager now at Discmania, and I am the direct in-warehouse contact person for sales. So signing up dealers, getting some product development put together and available for both the people and for dealers, especially brick and mortar is a big focus this year. Getting some more exclusive kind of products out to them. mostly on the American side, but might change a little bit here soon.
And so, what did you do to win a holiday to New Zealand? Is that how did that come about?
You talk about good fortune.
Yeah.
The whole Simon thing was a big move for us, and like it just all kind of fell down the ladder a little bit, and we were kind of scrambling on our end, and we wanted to be out there and represent for the company, and it fell its way into my lap, and it was an honor to really be out here and see what you guys are about, and just I feel really welcomed by the community as well. On the personal side, I was here for business, to see how it works, to see what Discmania is like in New Zealand, and I got a great introspection into that. I think the little bit of bonus was I was able to play well in the tournament as well. So
yeah, and so looking at the tournament, we've had a lot of feedback from a lot of Kiwis on the tournament. Yeah. As a kind of an outsider, if you like, who's coming to their first New Zealand tournament, and also you've got many US tournaments to act as a comparison.
Yeah,
what are your thoughts?
I play about 25 events a year.
Yeah.
In the comparison, a question I got a lot of the time out there was, how does this compare to America? How does this event compare, and also how does the pro field compare?
Yeah.
And honestly, there was just a bunch of similarities. I'm a decent player. I cash in most tournaments in Colorado, but the player pool is a lot stronger. That's what it is in America.
Yeah.
We got a lot of ballers. I play with Joe Revere, who is 1040 rated right now, the Masters world champ, and he beats me up and down the course all the time. And a lot of good players out there. But coming here, I've gotten a new understanding of how good you guys are. You are in a sequestered area of the world. And when it comes to ratings, I do feel everyone's around 10, maybe 15 points, a little bit lower than they should be. That's just because of your concentrated area.
Yeah.
If you were to come to the States, I think there would be a lot of high-level competition for the guys here to play in the States.
Yeah, because we don't have the 1050, the 1040 rated
you
players.
You don't have those 3 or 4 handful of guys who are just crazy because they would have already gone and left for the pro team.
Yeah, so
and you don't have that.
And I guess it's hard in New Zealand to get to that stage because what you're talking about is someone winning several tournaments by a lot of strokes,
5 to 10 strokes. Yeah.
A lot of times in order to achieve that, which is very difficult to do anywhere, let alone here. Excellent. And so you were on the lead card today.
I was.
So you got to see the drama unravel towards the end live, and be very much in the moment, because you would have been speaking to the players as they went round and getting a feel for the atmosphere, etc. Talk to us about it.
Yeah, it was what a great vibe. I haven't been on a card with a gallery that big before. In the States, there's not that much of a following as there is with international kind of events, as you can see, like evidence in the pro tour or the European tour, where there's thousands of people in the gallery. They're just fascinated to see like how this works, what the big boys are looking like. And out here was a similar vibe. Like a lot of people in Hagley felt like they were walking by and they're like, what is going on? Why are there so many people out there? And what are they doing? And then they got introduced to the sport.
And you see a crowd and you join it and you kind of wonder what's going on.
That's what was going on out there. It was so cool. And I got to talk to just a bunch of random spectators out there and let them know why we were here and all that. What else were you asking in that question there?
What was the vibe on the lead card amongst the players?
It was mellow to start out. We were dealing with some rain out there, and the wind actually died down for the first time in the tournament, it felt like. And it felt like we hadn't quite adjusted to playing in calmer, non-windy conditions, but it was still raining. And it was a pretty slow start for the whole card. It felt like it was slow. I was just hearing some whisperings and stuff that chase card, third card, we're starting to put together some really good rounds. But that whole time I was like, they haven't played 17 and 18 yet. And that's going to be a big factor coming down the stretch.
Massive factor.
Our card on 17, I knew it was coming down to it. Jaden and Ethan were battling it out. Joe had a pretty stagnant round, and I did as well. But Ethan played that hole to perfection. Like, incredible drive down the fairway with a mid-range, which was maybe 30 meters past my distance driver, just roped down the middle. And I was like, okay, wow. And then he had a great second shot that I thought was closer from where we were at.
Yep.
And I actually went over to him and was like, you just dominated this hole. Like, that was incredible to watch. And I get up there and it's actually only circle's edge.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. He slams the putt. Him and Jaden keep battling it out. And he missed that putt. And then he missed his comebacker. And just like the whole vibe changed on the card. And we were like, oh, wow. And Jaden makes a big putt, like circle's edge on 17 for a birdie, which there was not a lot of birdies on that hole.
No.
And walking up to 18, I go over to Ethan, I look him in the eye, and I was like, how are you feeling? He's like, it isn't over yet. And I was like, you were dang right, it isn't over yet. And he just throws a kind of a chip up shot to the left, like kind of pulled it. It seemed like a layup play, and he said it was a force. And he was probably only 100 meters off the tee.
Yeah, when he first let go of it, it hits an early branch,
trees.
and I'm thinking that's taken enough distance off it to make that next shot.
The next shot was going to be
very
really hard.
Yeah.
100 meters to an island green with some wind.
Yeah,
in a left to right as he's a lefty,
mm-hmm.
and then there was a couple other things going on the card, like on our right side. He was the first one out. And he threw in that left to right wind and just pins it like under the basket. Doesn't even have to stress about the putt.
It was clutch. It really was.
I think he threw the force again.
He did.
I think he went force.
He went force. Yeah.
Like just a technical way to play that hole. And Jaden had a better drive off the tee, but I think the pressure got put on him right there, and his just leaked a little bit out of bounds on the left.
His preparation to that final shot, seemed to be interrupted. And I think that might have played a part. And whether that was, it looked like either
he was out.
Yeah, it looked like it was either an early release or maybe I don't know. The disc was perhaps more stable than you thought it was.
Yeah, there was a little bit that went into that last shot because the camera crew out there, Flex Line, came over because I was the next out. But it looked like Jaden was getting ready to throw, and then someone from the crowd was like, "Hey, Jaden, like stop right before you throw."
Yeah.
And he was in his lineup, and
because your shot was from the other side of the fairway,
I had
difficult
pulled mine
to see
right.
from each perspective. Yeah,
we were about the same distance, so I actually went first and pulled mine to the right and whatever, got up and down after that. But it seemed like he had a second chance to take a moment and try to execute the shot, and it was a little bit too much time for him, I think.
Yeah,
I don't know, but it was a fantastic battle to observe.
It was absolutely fantastic.
Love
and
coming down to that.
I have to say, you mentioned the size of the gallery earlier on. When Jaden missed that upshot, silence.
Yeah.
All you could hear was cicadas.
It wasn't even like groans. It was just silence.
Yeah. Really, for about 10 seconds, actually, before people kind of realized what was going on and then moved on to the next bit, and it sort of became obvious what was going to happen. So what a finish to the tournament. I mean, you couldn't
ask for more. Those two finishing holes were exactly how you want to see a tournament come down to.
Look,
two hardest holes on the course.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure the stats could back that up.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
And I really like the setup. That whole event was just a pleasure to watch.
It's interesting. I spoke to 17 and 18. 18 was the hardest hole, and 17 was the second hardest. So it's an interesting point, actually. And I spoke to a few people about this, that the kind of the purpose of a disc golf tournament is to figure out who the best disc golfer is.
Yeah.
And each hole in a tournament should give you a little bit more information as to who the best disc golfer is.
Yes.
So when you have some holes where everybody gets the same score, you haven't learned anything in particular.
Yes.
When you have a hole where there is no kind of right way to play it, and there was maybe a couple of holes like that.
Yeah.
Then it's not really telling you anything. But 17 and 18 was fantastic.
Perfect. Yes.
Because you had a mixture of birdies, a mixture of pars, and a mixture of bogeys. If you have a look at the stats afterwards, it's almost a third. And that's if you could have 18 holes that did that,
it's the best course in the world.
Exactly. But I mean, so tip of the cap to Zach and the rest of the organizing team for coming up with those two. Very iconic as well as being difficult to play. And,
yes.
And
so fun. Like the whole time you're playing the round, you're like, all right, I got to get to those last 2 holes, and that's really going to determine how good or bad my round is going to be.
The number of stories I saw on social media where you had a picture of the fairway down 17 and it said my favorite hole.
Yes.
And so, not only was it the best, one of the best holes, it was also a lot of people's favorite.
Yes.
So look, if you didn't get a chance to play in South Island Champs this year, let's all hope that we get to play the course again at some point in the future, because that would it's an absolute treat. And I know the Christchurch team here, they've done an absolutely fantastic job putting on the tournament.
Ran so well.
And
like, people ask me, they're like, is this event like, does it compare in any way? I'm like, I walked up and just seen the feather banners and the little vending and everything, and having a venue to go to for lunch and a drink after the round, like it felt like an A tier. It wasn't even a B tier. Like it felt like an A tier, and you guys put it on right.
Yeah,
everybody did here.
They did a fantastic job, and I spoke to some of the golf club people this afternoon, and nobody had a bad word to say. They loved it. They loved it. They loved it. Excellent. Okay, look, thank you so much for joining us. Just quickly, what are you up to after today? You've got a long drive, I understand.
Yeah, we're going to drive around and play every course in the South Island pretty much in about a week.
In the South Island.
I think we have 30 to 40 scheduled right now.
If you see
car is packed, ready to go.
If you see these guys, they're gonna pull up to this course, wheels screeching, probably get out, play 9 holes in about 15 minutes, jump back in the car, and then see you later.
We got to see it all.
Excellent. Okay, so if you see that happening, stop and say hello. But excellent. Maverick, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for
shout out to
being here.
Always.
And enjoy the rest of your trip in New Zealand.
I shall.
Excellent. Yeah. Thanks so much.
Lovely time. Appreciate it.
Cheers. Right. Now, that about wraps it up for today, but we've got one last thing that we just wanted to cover off with you, because obviously there's this Discmania 1 in 4 thing that's been going on, right? And it's kind of been culminating and got to a head now. And we've actually got an announcement that we can make in relation to that. So I'm going to ask Avery Jenkins to come and join me now, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about what the plan from here is.
In the hot seat.
In the hot seat again. Avery, just very quickly before we move on to the Discmania thing, you've played the tournament now. What are your thoughts?
Incredible experience, start to finish. Awesome experience. Had a great time playing. Aside from my play, personal play, it was just great to take it all in, to see just the growth of the sport in this country from what I recognize what it was 6 years ago to what it is now. It's substantial, and I've said it many times over, but it's the level of play, the standard of a tournament, the professionalism. It's on the rise, and there's a standard set by having this tournament, largest tournament in New Zealand history. Yeah, and you can see by the gallery and the spectators and the players, like everybody left this tournament with a smile on their face. And that's, as an organizer and a supporter and a sponsor of this event, that's what you're looking for. You know, everybody's leaving with this event happy, talking about it. And I can imagine the message threads and everything in the media after this next week's gonna be nuts. Everybody talking about how great experience they had.
The bar's been nudged even higher than it was previously, and tournaments in the future are going to have to step up, and that's great for the disc golfer.
Oh my
right?
Gosh, absolutely.
So fantastic. Anyway, what is your announcement with respect to the Discmania 1 in 4? What's going on?
So we've been running the campaign, the Discmania 1 in 10, narrowed down to the 1 in 4. This tournament is definitely a pinnacle part of, we got to hang out and really have some really good interaction and some good conversation with the 1 in 4 throughout the week, playing practice rounds at the tournament, throughout the rounds, even got a couple chances to play with someone who won the 4 during the rounds of the tournament. And then even afterwards having a kind of a team dinner, gathering, talking, hanging out, and even the barbecue last night. Like, it was a really good time to really get to know these players, who they are on the course, who they are off the course. And I was asked the question, what do we want? What do we want as a sponsor, be Discmania? We want the best overall player. We want someone that's great on the course, someone that's a great person off the course, just an overall very well-rounded individual. That's what we're in search of. That's what I search out, throughout Europe, throughout the US, throughout North America. and that same kind of evaluation holds true. We're trying to find the best overall player that's going to represent the brand the best.
Yeah.
Social media weighs in, gameplay weighs in a tournament, and then obviously who they are as a person. Like, are they approachable by other fans and spectators?
Yeah.
That's huge. And how are they respected by other players they play with as well? It all weighs in. And so the announcement is, we got this week-long tour through the South Island, and we got to learn a lot this week. And we're going to take this week of playing and traveling, and we're gonna have a lot of hours in the car. And so me and Maverick are going to evaluate each and every player, even dig into some stats, past performances, this performance this weekend, and we're gonna come to a deciding vote on who we decide and who's going to qualify to make the 1 and 4 and be the one of one. Is what the ultimate decision is. So for the 1 and 4, as I told each and every one of them, we're going to take this week to evaluate. We didn't want to make the announcement today with the Garden City Open. We wanted Ethan to have his celebration and celebrate the tournament as it was, and we didn't want to kind of overshadow anything. So the evaluation will happen, and the announcement will be made who is going to be the Team Discmania sponsor player from New Zealand, and that's going to happen before we leave this island.
Excellent. And so you leave on Sunday, is that right?
That's correct.
You leave on Sunday. So be on the lookout for an exclusive announcement. You're going to come on Sweet Chain Live?
Let's do it. That's where it's going to happen.
Excellent. So look, we're going to have a special show either Saturday night or Sunday night, sometime over the weekend. As soon as we've got an absolute time that we can bake it in, we'll let you know. So keep an eye on our social channels. And the announcement will have Avery live from somewhere in New Zealand.
Maybe West Coast, maybe Nelson.
West Coast.
It might be back here eventually if we can make the whole loop. But that's the game plan. And so we're going to spend the week traveling, playing, and do a full evaluation on who's going to be the one of one.
Fantastic. So look out for that. It's coming in about a week's time, actually.
Yeah.
So fantastic. Look, Avery, it's been absolutely fantastic having you in the country.
It's been a blast.
And at the tournament. Thank you so much for coming. And look, come back again. Come to Wellington, is what I'd say.
I would love to.
We'll host you up there.
Awesome. Appreciate
Lovely
it.
stuff.
It's been a great time. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So there we go. Just left to say that on Thursday night show, in our regularly scheduled slot, we'll have Ethan Stout joining us to talk about his experience of winning the Garden City Open. So look out for that. And then we've got a special episode on Saturday or Sunday night when we'll be Avery will be announcing the winner of the Discmania 1 in 4. Until then, wherever you're playing disc golf, play well, get some birdies, and we'll speak to you next week. Cheers.